Hello, my name is Jocelyn Hathaway, and this video is going to be about the African American mathematician Elbert Frank Cox. And this video is for my History of Mathematics class. Elbert Frank Cox was born December 5, 1895 in Evansville, Indiana. He lived in a racially mixed neighborhood with his mother, father, and three sons. His mother's name was Eugenia Cox, and his father's name was Johnson Cox. And also his father was an elementary school principal, which influenced him to become an educator. Also, he was the oldest of the three sons, and on September 14, 1927 was when he married Beulah P. Kaufman, who was an elementary school teacher. He also had three sons himself, named James, Eugene, and Elbert. Also, he loved music, he loved playing the violin, and he was a strong advocate for mathematics and physics. Even though he had an interest in mathematics, physics, and music, he chose mathematics of the three subjects. Since he spent a majority of his life in Indiana, after high school he joined the U.S. Army during World War I. After he left the U.S. Army, he decided to pursue an undergraduate degree in mathematics from Indiana University. While he was at the university, he joined Kappa Alpha Phi fraternity. Also, he graduated in 1917 and decided to pursue a career as a high school mathematics teacher in Henderson, Kentucky. The following years, in 1920 or 1921, he went to Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina to become a mathematics professor. He didn't stay at Shaw University long but continued his journey as a mathematician. In 1922, he went to Cornell University to pursue his doctorate degree in mathematics. Cornell University is one of 7 African American universities with a mathematics doctoral program during this time. Also, he was able to attend this school on a full scholarship, and while he was there, he studied 3 main subjects: mathematics, physics, and chemistry. Also, his doctoral studies were supervised by William Lloyd Garrison. In 1924, he received the Erastus Brooks Fellowship and spent a big part of his time at McGill University in Montreal with his supervisor. The following year, in 1925, he graduated from Cornell University. This made him the first African American mathematician to receive a PhD in mathematics. Also during this year, he published 2 papers, and one of those papers was his thesis that he used for his doctorate. He was also awarded for his doctorate for his thesis titled Polynomial Solutions of Difference Equations. During this time, because of segregation, many universities outside of the United States refused to recognize and accept his thesis. 2 countries that refused him were in England and Germany. Eventually, in Sendai, Japan, Imperial University accepted his thesis. Also during the year of 1925, he became a professor at Western Virginia State University. He also became the head of the mathematics and physics department. Then, 4 years later, in 1929, he moved to Washington, D.C., where he became a professor at Howard University. From 1942 to 1945, he taught engineering science and war management during World War II. He was also the head of a specialist Army training program. This was beneficial to others because he had already served in the army during World War I and knew a broad amount of knowledge about the war. In 1947, he became the mathematics department chair at Howard University. For the remainder of his educator career, he stayed at Howard University and retired in 1965. Even though he retired, his legacy did not fade away. His specialties included difference equations, the interpolation theory, and differential equations. Sadly, he died November 28, 1969. To keep him in the minds of young African Americans and mathematicians, there were many accomplishments that were left behind from him, and also contributions. At Howard University, he was known for helping coming up with the grading system the year that he joined the university. He also advised many candidates for the master's program in mathematics. He also had many other memberships, including Beta Kappa Chi, Pi Mu Epsilon, Sigma Pi Sigma, the American Mathematical Society, the American Physical Society, and the American Physics Institute. Also, there were many other awards or honors that were named after him. In 1975, there was a PhD program established at Howard University. Also, there was the Elbert Frank Cox Scholarship Fund, and this fund aids in funding undergraduate African American mathematics majors. This also encourages young African Americans to pursue mathematics at the graduate level. 5 years later, the Cox Talbot Address was established, and this was in honor of the first and the fourth African Americans to receive a PhD in mathematics. The first African American was Elbert Frank Cox, and the fourth African American was Walter Richard Talbot. Walter Richard Talbot also received a PhD from the University of Pittsburgh in mathematics, and this award is also given every year at the national meeting for the National Association of Mathematics. Along with the many contributions from Elbert Frank Cox, he is a role model for many African Americans today to pursue a mathematics degree. Not only just mathematics, but as well as other STEM majors, it encourages young African Americans to pursue a STEM field and become a role model for other young African Americans. By researching about Elbert Frank Cox, I was able to view him as a role model for many HBCU students, including myself. It was interesting to read about someone who's a product of HBCU and how he was able to share the knowledge he learned with other students. The main schools or universities that he had an impact on were Howard University, located in Washington, D.C., Cornell University, located in Ithaca, New York, Shaw University, located in Raleigh, North Carolina, and West Virginia State University, located in Institute, West Virginia. Also, being a female and a minority in a STEM field can be very challenging. So when I researched about another African American who overcame many challenges, I saw it as beneficial. Also, researching him had me inspired to continue to strive in the mathematics field.